How far are you along with Euphoria?
I have finished it, my friend.
All 8?
Yes.
Right. I know we're live on the internet, okay? But I have now an unhealthy interest in
Zendaya.
Yes.
You have to be able to say her name before we... So, should we start with Euphoria?
Yes, let's. This is an HBO show that's on Sky Atlantic, and Sky Atlantic waited for it all to finish in the US. So they could put it on as a box set, which is what they sometimes do. So it's airing Tuesday nights at 10, I think, weekly, but it's all there if you're a Sky Q or Now TV customer. And it is HBO's first attempt at a teen drama, a la Skins or any other teen drama you can connect it with.
It has got a sense of Skins in it for me.
And it's based off an Israeli series, though. The lead sort of creator from the US side is the creator, the writer, the director. He does basically everything. So it's his baby, but he's taken the ideas
Is that
and
Sam
themes.
Levinson?
Yes, he's basically all over it. He's taken the ideas and themes from the Israeli series and
son of Barry Levinson, the film director of Rain Man and such other films.
Oh, way to step on my parade.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it is a teen drama. It stars Zendaya, who I hadn't come across before.
It's because me and you don't watch any of these like massive blockbusters like the Spider-Man films or The Greatest Showman. Everyone else knows exactly who she is.
No, I know, and apparently she's a bit of a Disney Channel darling, but again, that was lost on me. It stars her as Rue, this teenage girl who, since her father's death, has struggled with drug addiction, pain medication addiction, and it starts.
We sort of learned she's always had sort of like OCD and things like that, and I think exacerbated by her father's death. That's when she starts, her drug addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it starts with her coming out of rehab, and sort of still not. The rehab hasn't done its job, and she's still struggling with all the addictions and afflictions she was beforehand. We meet her friends circle, which include a new girl called Jules, and she is actually a transgender girl, played by a real-life transgender actress, Hunter Schafer, and she's a really interesting character. I've only gone up to episode 4 so far, which I adored. Let me just tell you my first experiences with Euphoria.
So, and just one more thing before you start. The sort of the way they lay the episodes out, and that's where I sort of did the thing to Skins, is that they start with sort of the backstory of one character to show where you've got to this point where they're 16, 17, I think, aren't they? Most of the characters are meant to be, and there is one footballer who's graduated and is now in college, but most of them are around 17, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you my experiences of it so far.
Yeah.
Is that, first of all, I struggled because it was like someone had put my life on screen, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
But no, I knew going in that it was, sexually explicit. It didn't hold back, and things like that. And I started it, enjoyed Zendaya's performance, but struggled to connect with any of the others. Stopped it when it got too explicit, and I was like, I feel old. I don't like it.
Yeah, I got those old feelings as well, because they're the same age.
Persisted with it because I thought her performance was amazing. Got to 4 when all the stories sort of interject, combine and crash into each other, and it's brilliantly directed as well. It's an episode at a carnival, which airs on Tuesday on Sky Atlantic, and then just fell completely head over heels in love with it, and have wanted to watch the rest ever since then, but have been unable to. What about you?
You were the person who sort of said try and watch at least the first 2, but I think I just got it. I mean, it's an easy show to watch.
It is.
I think because of the amount of different storylines. I mean, they are, well-defined characters. I think Zendaya is amazing in it. I think her performance.
Oh my God.
It's not only the sort of, because you would think person going through a drug addiction and things like that. But there's almost like a humour to it, and in the latter episodes where she sort of almost tries to become like a detective to work out exactly what's going on.
I've not got there yet, but
yeah,
I'm really
and she has the most fascinating facial expressions and things like that. Also, Hunter Schafer, as you said, who I think is fantastic. I don't know if she's been in anything before. I'm not sure, but I think that those two together are really good. And also this actress called Barbie Ferreira, who plays a character called Kat, who's this sort of overweight girl who's sort of struggling with having her first sexual experience, and then almost becomes the sort of industry in communicating with men over the internet. And her story, for me, without spoiling anything, is the only one that sort of had a beginning, middle, and an end. What for me the sort of negative, I think, was the writing wasn't always really strong, very expositional in places. I didn't believe all of the dialogue. I thought the storytelling was strong, and the visuals are fantastic. There's fantastical elements in there as well, which helps. And it's a believable world as well that they've created. I think.
I thought the direction on that carnival episode is they sort of swing out and there's somebody under some seats talking, then they go out the other way. It's really well done, and it was really immersive, that whole episode, and brought all the story. Because initially when I started it, I got to episode 3 and I was like, there's not much story, but then when they bring it all together, you do see there's a lot going on. So Jules has had a sort of sexual encounter with the father of someone she's been catfished by. That's really interesting.
Who's like a sociopath, basically. Now
well, he's the quintessential American sort of athlete type, isn't he, as well?
Yeah. But he's sort of struggling with his homosexuality, struggling with the fact that his dad's homosexual, and keeps all these DVD. He records all of his sexual exploits with men in motel rooms, and keeps them in sort of colour coordinated sort of DVDs, doesn't he? And puts them in his drawer. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to sort of not spoil anything going forward for you, but be interesting to see what you think when you get to the final episode, because it sort of fits in with the style of the series in the sort of way it ends. We'll have to have a discussion about this sort of when you have watched
towards
it.
The end. Yeah.
I also of the supporting characters, I really like the drug dealers.
Yes, the young lad.
Ashtray.
Ashtray. Really like them.
And his character, actually, I really like, because he is really protective of Rue, isn't he? I think that's one you've watched where she tries to come into his place, because he operates outside.
That was actually the scene. That was the scene where she's banging on his garage door or his metal door, saying, "Open the door! You did this to me. You got a responsibility. Open the door!" And she's just in complete desperation. That was the scene that turned it all around for me, and I thought, yeah, there's something poignant, important, and interesting going on.
And I like their relationship, because it's sort of, he's protective of her. He sees her as family, and I really like. He's sort of like the only good male character. All the other men are like real sort of
slime balls,
or sort of insecure, or it's very much strong female. It's very much a female-led series. Obviously, Sydney Sweeney's in it because she's in everything.
Yeah, but she's in good things, so I don't mind that.
Yeah, I suppose she's in there. I think it took me out of it a little bit because she's in so many things. Everyone else in it is either an unknown or someone like Zendaya, who we're not too familiar of. I know she's a big name, but I feel her performance in this is excellent. And it is believable. Someone struggling with mental health issues. That it is a really good representation of it, and she's not the only character who's struggling with different issues. And it all stems. The reason they have these sort of prologues is because it all stems from their relationship with their parents, which it spells out.
I mean, I know you're trying not to spoil it, and I'm glad about that. But there is a second on the way. Is this one where you think, I don't know where they can go on a second, or they're trying to string it out, or do you think there is legitimate reason?
I think it's not, because it's not an open end, an open and shut story, is it? It's about their lives, so it's easier to do a second series. It's not like, say, like a Big Little Lies, where it was all about this mystery and this murder and things like that. It's about these characters at high school, so it's easy to do a second. As I say, the only story that sort of gets finished properly for me is the story with Kat, in terms of her sexual exploration and things like that, and that is very much a subplot. I mean, where they leave things with Jules and with Rue at the end of the first series is very, very open ended. So there's a lot to, and it is quite emotional. I think the last episode does pack a punch to an extent.
And I think the relationship between Rue and Jules really fascinates me as well, because they have a deep love for each other that it just feels very genuine and not sensationalized. And
Jules's backstory as well is sort of horrific, isn't it?
Very bleak.
Like, her mum tricks her into putting her on a secure unit when she's like a young boy.
But we're probably not the target audience. But it just shows you that if the characters are interesting and the performances are good, then you don't have to be the target audience for something, because it will draw you in. I'm pleasantly surprised that you watched it all, because I thought you might have found it all a bit in your face and a bit over stylized.
No, I don't think it was too over stylized, because I think the themes they were dealing with were realistic.
No, I agree. I really liked it. Really liked it.